heard, the International Dyslexia Association just released a brand new definition of dyslexia, and it's a big deal. Even though the Illinois Administrative Code hasn't been updated yet, it's important that we understand this updated definition so that we can best support the students in our classrooms. Here's the new definition. It is a long definition, but every single part of it matters. So let's break down what's new and why it's important. So first, dyslexia is identified as a specific learning disability, which directly connects to IDEA and reinforces that students with dyslexia are eligible for services and supports they need. Dyslexia impacts accurate and or fluent word reading and spelling, and yes, that includes sight word recognition. These challenges show up at the word level, and they look different across languages depending on that orthography, proving that dyslexia exists in all languages. The definition also highlights that these difficulties fall along a continuum of severity and persist even with effective instruction. In other words, some students may have dyslexia without qualifying for an IEP, and strong instruction alone isn't enough. The response to instruction is a key part of what we look at. It also addresses why dyslexia occurs. It's multifactorial, shaped by genetic, neurobiological, and environmental influences that interact across development. Dyslexia is lifelong, not something that students simply outgrow, but what we do in the classroom can absolutely mitigate risk and improve outcomes. We also learned that while difficulties with phonological and morphological processing are common, they're not necessarily universal. Early oral language weaknesses often foreshadow literacy challenges, and dyslexia can co-occur with things like DLD and ADHD, but it's distinct and not tied to intelligence. The definition does not stop at the word level. It also addresses secondary consequences. When reading and writing are hard, students typically tend to avoid them. So that reduced practice, it impacts vocabulary, knowledge, written expression, confidence, and even long-term opportunities. Dyslexia impacts academics, yes, but also psychological well-being. And finally, one of the most important takeaways, early identification and targeted instruction matter. Support in the preschool and early elementary years has the biggest impact, and even though Illinois does not mandate universal early literacy screening, most districts typically have a screener because it's just best practice. So what does this all mean for us? Well, it means that deepening our understanding of dyslexia is not optional. It is absolutely essential. The more that we know, the better that we can recognize signs early, provide evidence-based instruction, and create classrooms where every student is seen and supported. If you want to dig deeper, check out the linked resources, drop your questions in the comments, and share this with a fellow educator and administrator. The more we know, the better we can support all students.